Hello again, everybody. This is Michael, K4EST. I'm going to go over again here and kind of make a multiple part series video on the Amiko Mini HD RE. So when you get it out of the box, you hook it up. As long as everything's wired up right and all that good stuff, it's going to look like this. It's going to come up, no channel. That's what you're going to see. So, here's kind of like, my workflow, and here's what I do. I get a new box, I've hooked it up. First, I'm going to end with this particular box. On the remote, I'm going to hit a menu. I'm going to come over here to installation. And then I'm going to click on satellite installation. And then it'll look like this. Because the first thing it'll show here, especially if you buy the box from me, if you buy it from somewhere else, it might be a little different. It's going to have right here my call sign followed by the date that it was last updated. Like this box here. This is KE4EST 2017-0614. So the June 6, 2017 was the last time I went through and set up any, and it's going to come. Now some receivers you'll get sent and they'll have a few transponders in it. And this, that, and the other. And so far everybody's been liking the way I do this. It's kind of clean. When you get this box, there's no transponders programmed in. Because the main reason I did that was because I had over the years a couple of people complain, and they would say, hey, I've been trying. You said to go and put in an active transponder and try to tune in my dish, but it still ain't nothing working. Then so after a few emails or a call, find out, well, their active quote unquote transponder is a transponder that's already in there, and they assumed that it's active. And things can change. So it's either it's changed or maybe I entered it wrong when I set it up. So things can happen like that. So if I just put in nothing, and you bring it up and you come down here and you look through, and what I'm going to start off with myself is 125. But if you look through, what you'll do is you'll come in and come down here. But if you go through all of these and look at them, you'll see there's no transponders in there. There's no default transponder. Now some receivers make you do it. The chipset will make you at least have one default transponder, even if it's a dummy made up transponder that's not even close to anything that would even be right. But this Ally chipset doesn't require that. So let's come down to 125 KU, and I'm going to do this one because a lot of people a lot of times start off with a KU dish. They get a 90 centimeter dish, or to convert something, a smaller dish. And so we're going to set up, and now this, of course, assuming you've already got it set up. I need to do a video one day where I've take a TV out to the dish and do everything and kind of show you, through that. But there's plenty of places on the internet, satellite guys, a lot of places you can go to, and they'll tell you, or you can ask, hey, what do I do? And they'll tell you how to take and set it, because you'll say, well, I don't have a satellite meter, I can't afford one, or I don't want to buy one yet, or I got one of those little free ones with the receiver, it's got a little needle on it, but I can't figure it out. Yeah, because that thing, some of those things are so sensitive, you can aim it at a power pole, and the harmonics coming off the transformer and the energy sometimes, and the the trash from a transformer, it'll pick it up, and you'll think you're pointing at a satellite, and you might be pointing to the north instead of the south, and things like that. So all that does, it does sort of work if you know what you're doing. But if you're new to it, I don't recommend those things. Best way is to take it out to the dish, set it up at the dish, and go from there. But okay, you've got it set up one way or the other, or you've already got a dish set up, and you just bought this receiver and you want to set it up. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to select 125. Okay, now this box is shipped with the LMB type. If you go down as standard, and if you click on it, or go, to hit the OK button on the remote, you're going to see that the frequency is 10750. Now it says first frequency because you know how if a universal LMBF will have two frequencies. And it'll say first frequency even though there's only one frequency. But now if yours is not, you have a universal, you'll have to hit the left and right and go over till you hit universal. And this right here, 9750 and 10600 is usually normally the frequency. Also, a lot of times if you're just going, say, like this 125 West satellite, or you know most satellites in North America, you're not going to need, and say you got a universal LMBF you've got set up on that dish, and it takes forever to blind scan, and you still only get, you know, your few little channels there, you know, PBS, MUX, and whatever. And the reason for that is it's going down to that first frequency, and it's scanning all that, you know, on the first local oscillator inside of that LMBF. It's scanning all that, and there's nothing there for it to pick up. And then it jumps to the other one. So another little trick you can do, unless you're going to be pointing at some European satellites, or you're pointing way down toward 30 West or 15 West or whatever, you know, like if you live in California or something, you can't even see those birds anyway, really. So you can go here and put this back on standard, or user would work too, but and then come down here and set this. If you just keep going over, and you can also punch it in, but if you go over and set it for 10600 and one frequency, that way it's just going to scan that instead of jumping to both of them. So that's a little trick there. When you get it, it's going to be set for 10750, because that's what mostly people use in North America, and that's what I've got it set up for. And you'll see, like I said, there's no transponders programmed in, nothing for you to, you know, whatever. And if you just got a wire coming from your LMBF to your receiver, you're pretty much at this point ready to go, you know, doing some blind scanning or whatever. But if you have a switch installed like I do, and I've got an 8x1 switch, you would come here. Say if you got a regular, say if you got a 1x4 switch, you'd come here and you can set it up. If you got a 1x2 or 1x4, and pick which one it is. If you've got the Dissect 1.1 switches, which is like the 1x8s, 1x16s, you come in here, and I know this one I've got on 8, so I'm gonna come down to 8. Okay, I'm not using the positioner. I'm not gonna go through that right now with this first setup. This, now if you've got a 22 kilohertz switch and you got two dishes you're wanting to use, of course, set that up. And of course there's ways to get more complicated switch setups, but if you're that far along, you've been doing this a while, or you know, let's get the basics first if you're new to this, and then branch off. If you're absolutely completely new to this setting up, I recommend not even using any switches at all. Just come straight off that LMBF, straight into your receiver. Okay, and then we're going to come down here. Everything's, you know, set here. Now you can look at the different polarities there, but everything, I just leave it auto. Make sure your LNB your LNB power is on, because you know you're not going to be. The only reason you turn that off is if you're going to slave this from another box or something. So the only box you got to set, and then again, if you're doing all that, then it's more advanced. Okay, everybody, I think I'm going to stop it right there and pick back up in part 2 of this series with the next part, and the next part will be going into the initial blind scan after we've got everything set up now and we're ready to blind scan. So be sure to click on over to part 2 to catch that. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button, and thanks for watching. 73, this is Michael, KE4EST.